Goes up the side of my head, burns my arm all up. Barrel blowed up with alcohol in it.
Welcome to Moonshiners, the only show where grown men commit federal crimes on camera and get a sponsorship deal for it. It's 2011. The recession's still kicking, and Discovery Channel asked the most American question ever. What if we filmed hillbillies making bathtub liquor and called it heritage? Enter Tickle, Tim, Popcorn, and a cast of denim-clad outlaws who look like Duck Dynasty got kicked out of Bass Pro Shops. They're dodging the law, blowing up stills, and delivering mason jars like it's moonshine Amazon Prime.
Ladle up and I'm gonna put 100 mils in that. I'll take it and run it in the lab.
We're interested in hardness.
I can.
And the best part, none of it is real. No one gets arrested. The cops are confused, and Virginia's Alcohol Control Board publicly shouts, "This is staged, y'all." But Discovery just smiles and hits record, because Moonshiners isn't about truth, it's about the vibe of illegality, fake crime, real ratings, and somehow America couldn't get enough. To understand Moonshiners, you have to understand one thing. Americans love outlaws, but only the kind that look good on a t-shirt. That's exactly what Moonshiners delivered when it premiered in December 2011. A handcrafted fantasy about rebellious men deep in the Appalachian woods distilling illegal booze like it's 1927, and the government's still scared of corn. The show was produced by Magilla Entertainment because nothing says authentic Southern crime like a New York-based production company with a name that sounds like a failed pasta brand. From the jump, Moonshiners struck a nerve. Viewers were hooked. It felt raw, dangerous, real. Men with nicknames like Tickle, Jim Tom, and Popcorn, yes, Popcorn, risked it all to make hooch and secret stills that looked like they were built using Minecraft logic and spare lawnmower parts.
I understand.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right, buddy, thanks. Bye. The only stipulation...
The hook was irresistible. They were always one step ahead of the law, except they weren't. Because here's the catch. The authorities in Virginia quickly called BS. No actual crimes are being committed, they said, adding that if anyone was making real moonshine, they'd be arrested. Spoiler, no one was. Turns out the whole thing was a reenactment, a dramatized docudrama, a cosplay of crime. But Discovery refused to add a disclaimer. Instead, they doubled down on the illusion. And just like that, Moonshiners became less about truth and more about selling the aesthetic of rebellion.
Boil these things, clean them out, carve them. We only got one barrel.
It didn't matter if it was real. What mattered was that it felt illegal. And that's when the magic happened. People didn't want facts, they wanted folklore. And suddenly moonshine wasn't just alcohol, it was entertainment. The downfall of Moonshiners didn't come all at once. It came the same way their stills usually exploded. Slow pressure, a faulty valve, and way too much ego. Let's start with the elephant in the room, or rather, the moonshiner in the Ford truck Tickle. Stephen Ray Tickle was the breakout star nobody asked for. Half philosopher, half drunk uncle, Tickle had the energy of someone who believes pants are optional after 3 p.m.
Me, I'm gonna be there no matter what the situation. That's just how this line of work.
Fans loved him. Producers loved him. Judges, not so much. Because in 2013, Tickle got arrested. For what, you ask? Public intoxication, alone, in a parked car, drinking beer like a man rehearsing for his own intervention. This wasn't even the worst part. In 2015, he was caught with a sawed-off shotgun in his truck. Then, while on probation, he failed a drug test for cocaine. Moonshine might rot your teeth, but Tickle was out here skipping straight to felonies. And yet, the show kept rolling. Because if there's one thing Discovery Channel loves more than reality, it's ratings. Tickle went from jail to spin-off in record time. He literally got his own show, Tickle, where he played himself trying to go straight. Spoiler, he didn't. But Tickle wasn't the only warning sign. The real cracks began where all reality shows die. The audience got smart. By season 5, people started asking obvious questions, like, if they're breaking the law on national television every week, why hasn't anyone been arrested?
Corn in my truck, we're ready to rock and roll.
Let's get the pump and stuff first. Get the hose right.
Or, how is the cameraman not in prison? Or, wait, did that guy just hide moonshine under a canoe? The illusion began to fade. The suspense was gone. Every episode followed the same formula. Build a still, break a still, whisper about the law like Voldemort in overalls, and somehow sell everything without getting caught. rinse, and repeat. By 2016, even the Virginia ABC had given up trying to play along. Their early complaints had been ignored. Discovery never added that "this is fictional" disclaimer. And so the show existed in this weird legal twilight zone, not illegal enough to shut down, not real enough to believe.
The law was there. Chances are that liquor's gone unless they're just waiting for us to come back so they can bust our asses.
Meanwhile, viewership slid like a greased hog down a muddy hill. From 3 million viewers in season 2, they dipped to under 2 million by season 5. The tension was gone, the stakes were low, and the drama manufactured. You could smell the script through the screen, probably vanilla flavored. But the producers weren't done yet. No, they thought the answer to everything was more Moonshine Extended Universe. So in came the spin-offs. First, Moonshiners, whiskey business, where Tim Smith, now a legal distiller, traveled around like the Gordon Ramsay of grain alcohol, helping struggling whiskey startups get their act together. Think Bar Rescue, but with more fire hazards. It flopped. Then Moonshiners, Master Distiller, a competition show where contestants tried to make booze from weird ingredients like peaches, pumpkins, or pure desperation.
Yep.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
You got 3 hours. Your time starts now. Good luck and get with it, guys.
Judges, Tickle, Mark, and Digger, a jury of your peers. And then there was Moonshiners, American Spirit, Moonshiners, Smoke on the Mountain, Moonshiners, Moonshine Wars, Moonshiners. This is probably illegal, but it's fine. Okay, not the last one, but you get the idea. They franchised the hell out of it. When in doubt, make more Moonshiners, or as Discovery calls it, synergy. The cast kept changing too. Jim Tom, the charming old-timer with a whiskey-soaked voice, faded into the background. Jeff and Lance disappeared. In came a father-daughter duo, new swamp dwellers, and someone literally called the Hog Father. Yes, that's real. We've gone from popcorn to pork-based royalty. Meanwhile, the remaining outlaws were quietly getting brand deals. Mark and Digger partnered with Sugarlands Distilling. Tim's Climax Moonshine hit grocery store shelves. The Rebel Dream was now a marketing plan with a trademark symbol. And the audience, some stayed loyal. Others saw through it, because once the moonshine became legal, the show lost its moonshine. The tension that once made Moonshiners must-see TV, the idea that these guys were risking it all, evaporated like bad alcohol on a hot copper still.
Only negative I could come away with, just had a little off nose, but the flavor was there. Fine job on your part.
There was no risk anymore, just recipes. The drama became predictable. Tickle finds a hidden stash. The still breaks again. A rival moonshiner shows up with a better mustache. Add a slow motion shot of someone pouring clear liquid into a jug, and boom, that's your season. Because in the end, it didn't matter whether it was real. It mattered that it looked real. Just enough backwoods banter, just enough damn the law attitude, and just enough plausible deniability to keep the fantasy alive. So what if it was fake? So are wrestling and politicians. At least Moonshiners had better facial hair. At this point, Moonshiners isn't so much a TV show as it is a cultural reenactment with better camera angles. The danger? Gone. The outlaws? Rebranded. The story? On a permanent loop. What started as gritty bootlegging now feels like a southern-themed cruise ship entertainment package, brought to you by Sugarlands Distilling, official sponsor of NASCAR and Appalachian cosplay. Let's be honest, the moonshine might still be clear, but the show's intentions are muddy as hell. Congratulations, you've just trademarked an attitude. You've got Mark and Digger selling official outlaw moonshine in legal stores, while Tim Smith's Climax whiskey comes with its own merch line. The same men who once whispered we can't get caught are now doing YouTube tutorials on distillation safety. And somehow the show still wants us to believe they're living on the edge. Every episode pretends the cops are closing in, even though the local sheriff's probably watching from his couch with a branded mason jar in hand. They sell tension but deliver comfort TV. It's no longer will they get away with it, but which flavor are they bottling this week?
Stop it! Stop it! Now.
The editing is just deja vu on repeat. Dramatic voiceover, something breaks, fake panic, drone shot, freeze frame high five. And the best part, they still won't admit it's scripted. No disclaimer, no wink to the camera. Just 12 seasons of pretending we don't notice. The tragedy isn't that it's fake, it's that it still thinks it's fooling anyone. Because moonshiners now exist in a genre of its own. corporate outlaw fiction, a place where danger is simulated, rebellion is monetized, and even the stills come with product placement. And sure, there's still an audience, a loyal niche, people who want to believe, people who don't mind the lie, because the lie is comforting, because it feels like America. But if you strip away the banjo music, the beards, and the slow-mo pouring shots, you're left with the saddest thing a moonshine show can become: safe. Moonshiners was never really about moonshine. It was about myth. The myth of the underdog rebel, the romantic outlaw, the idea that somewhere deep in the woods, real men were doing real things, with nothing but copper, corn, and contempt for the government. For a while, we bought it. We wanted to believe these guys were risking it all for a jug of freedom, that they were dodging drones, outrunning agents, and whispering codes like the corn's in the wind. But it was never about evasion. It was about illusion.
At least know how to do the old way first.
And in the end, Moonshiners became the very thing it claimed to defy: a polished, branded, legally compliant product with a rebel costume on top. The fantasy almost worked, not because it was real, but because it tapped into something we wanted to be true. That authenticity could survive in a media world of filters, sponsors, and clickbait. But you can't fake rebellion forever. Eventually, the beard glue wears off, the still gets licensed, and the outlaw signs a contract. So here we are, 13 seasons in, and all that's left is merch, spin-offs, and legacy branding. The danger's gone, the moonshine's legal. And Tickle, he's probably doing motivational speeches in a Bass Pro Shop somewhere. So ask yourself, if the moonshine is legal, if the cops are in on it, if the danger is fake, then what are we even watching? Oh right, television. Like, subscribe. And tell us in the comments which federal crime you'd like to see turned into a feel-good reality show next.